You are listening to Minor Metrics. I'm your host, Chris Mellon. This show is powered by a script written by Lockfox and Eve Prosper. This content is aimed at players participating in the mining profession and is provided nightly to give you, dear listener, the information you need to sell your product at the right price. Starting with Tritanium, on the yearly graph we can see the capital mining crash and nerf recovery. Zooming in, the price has come out of its stall out and is reaching up to 4.8. I think we've moved past any crash that might have happened and have continued on to a higher price. Luckily, if you were holding out for a longer game, you've been rewarded early. It's a good move to sell Tritanium now, although our price could rise higher. Pyrite is showing the capital mining crash, and we've returned to a stall. Zooming in, we can see our price is reaching up towards 6.0. In the long run, I think this price has further to rise, and I would hold out for a higher price. Moving on to Mexilon, we can see the amazing summit that we're on. Zooming in, however, we can see the crash I've been warning about is here in earnest. We've got some high volatility over the last few days, and we're on the top of an upswing right now. So I'd sell now, and cut your losses. With Isogen, we're seeing the exact same graph as Pyrite, and it's for all the same reasons. Zooming in, we can see our price is pulled out of a decline, but we might be returning to a bit of a dip. Selling Isogen isn't a terrible idea, but only if you need to liquidate. Holding out for a better price will probably be a better move in the long run. Moving through to Noxian, we see a similar pattern to Tritanium earlier, but with a price hike up to a much better relative price point. Zooming in, we can see a huge amount of upward volatility followed by a correction. This is the new peak price range for this market, and I believe selling before another drop is a wise choice. There's even a bit of last-minute upward volatility to cash out on. Zydrine's yearly graph is looking alien, with large movements in the early year followed by a recent plummet in price. Zooming in, we can see the rapid decline we've experienced and the bounce back from that movement. Finally, we see some movement with Zydrine and a good upward swing. This is the upper limit on our stall out while we're waiting for a change to the bigger picture. Whether you sell now or wait depends on your long-term bet about the future of the Zydrine price. I would hold and wait for a better price. Next is Megasite. Much like Zydrine, Megasite has had large movements in the early year, but is only just now experiencing its drop. If Zydrine is any indication, this price has further to drop. Unfortunately, this movement is so rapid, I have to advocate holding your Megasite until after the drop. Finally, we have an upward trend, so if you need to liquidate, I recommend pushing the button and saving yourself from future losses. For the last of our minerals, Morphite's yearly graph looks incredibly stable, but zooming in, we can see we've been experiencing a long fall in price with some recent volatility. We've grown all the way to 11,000, so this is a great trading price. I recommend selling any and all Morphite you have. This is the best price for the near future. Now we'll move on to ice products. First up, we have heavy water with a massive decline after the Rorqual nerf and leveling off. Zooming in, we can see just how stable this period is. There's a bit of upward volatility today, but still fitting a trend of a slow drop. Next is liquid ozone, looking incredibly stable, much like our Morphite graph. And zooming in, we can see how sideways our graph really is. The fact that the bars are blown out this large means there's a scaling on the graph that covers a very narrow price band, meaning the price has stayed flat for the last 90 days. We've had a bit of upward volatility, but I'd probably wait for a momentary tick in volatility like we had last month. But if you don't want to wait, you're not giving up much with this kind of price volatility. Strontium clathrates are in a slow decline, and zooming in we can see that this decline has been off and on for a while now. This decline will continue for a while, but will bounce back if a war of some kind had started. If you need liquid ISK quickly, selling at this current stall out is wise, but if you can hold on, I'd wait to stock the next big engagement. Moving through to our isotopes, we have the helium isotopes with a slow decline in price recently. Zooming in we can see our price has hit 625 and is crashing through the bottom of our RSI. If you have helium isotopes, you need to hold on to them and wait for the overcorrection from this unstable nature. Our hydrogen isotope price is much more level, but zooming in we can still see our prices at 625. This price has a lot to rise due to the rainbow fuel changes with citadels, and you should hold on to your hydrogen until the price rises. Nitrogen isotopes look like they're on the peak of a spike, and zooming in we can see they're being traded at 850, a far overvalued price. I recommend selling your nitrogen isotopes now to supply this peak and protect yourself from the drop in progress. Oxygen isotopes look excellent as well, but the same volatility is hitting the market. Zooming in, we can see oxygen isotopes are being traded at 775 and are likely going to correct in price. This most recent upward volatility is a great time to cash out. This has been Chris Mellon for Minor Metrics. That'll do it for the show. Thank you for tuning in, and be sure to check tomorrow for another episode.